Welcome to Patient Chart Manager demo series on Provider Workflow. We know that providers have limited time. That's why we designed our system to make the provider's workflow between patient visits as smooth and efficient as possible. Tasks like signing documents and giving instructions to staff should be as quick in an EHR as with paper charts. In Patient Chart Manager, every user has a user inbox, and you would be able to look at all of the documents you need to take care of right here. And keep in mind, these documents were filed by the staff. Now sometimes you just want to sign a document, and we make that very easy for you. Just click here and indicate where you want your signature. And just like that, the document is signed and automatically removed from your inbox. And here's the next document. And let's say you're done reviewing it and ready to sign. Just click here and click where you want your signature. And if you prefer, you can make your signature automatically appear in the lower right corner of the document instead of indicating where it should be placed. Now on this lab, let's say you want to leave a note for your staff to do something. If you're using a pen tablet with a stylus, you could pick the pen and quickly jot down a note if you want. Or you could add a sticky note and type a shortcut similar to this that expands to schedule a lab appointment, for example. And if you're using a pen tablet, there's handwriting recognition. Just write your message, and the system will turn it into text for you. Or you could use a stamp. Save the changes when you're done, and send it to the staff member who needs to deal with it. It indicates to you here, by this icon, that this document is in another user's inbox, so you know you're still waiting on that user to address it. If it's critical though, you can assign it to a task list. Type your orders here. Again, you can use shortcuts. You can use handwriting recognition. Assign it to an individual. Remind this individual, starting 3 days from now if they haven't completed it yet, with an interval of every hour. And you can remind yourself if it's not done in a week. Every 4 hours. So you would be able to keep track of anything that's important to you with a task. And then later on, you would be able to look at these tasks by operator, by category of the task, by all the tasks due in the next 7 days, for example. This gives you very tight control of what's going on in your office. We know that every provider has their own preference for charting patient visits. That's why we designed our system to allow each provider to choose how they want to document. We believe the EHR should adjust to the provider instead of the provider adjusting to the EHR. If you no longer have paper charts, how will you know which patient is ready to be seen and which exam room they're waiting in? In Patient Chart Manager, you can use the daily appointment screen to answer both of these questions. Here you can look at your appointment schedule for the day and see which patients have been waiting the longest and what room they're in. From here, you can go straight to the chart, where every chart has the allergies, problems, procedures, and medications on the front of the chart here, and the chart tabs with the various current chart documents here. To document a visit though, you can start here. And there are a number of ways to document. You can document using text templates. These are similar to Microsoft Word documents, but we've added a number of features to make these as efficient as possible. Here you can have your letterhead or logo, and the system auto-populates the document with the patient information. Remember the allergy, medication, and problem lists from the front of the chart? That can automatically pull into your note. And if the patient tells you that something is wrong with these lists, you can quickly access them by just clicking on the title. Let's say the patient says that this problem is inactive. You can mark it as such, and the chart is now updated. Same thing with these other lists. If the patient has a new medication that was given to them by another practice, for example, you would be able to update that here. The lab results are populated here, and they're graphed, so you can discuss them with the patient. You can pull in a default normal review of systems, and a default normal exam. And then you only have to change the positives. For example, maybe everything is normal except for the skin exam. The patient has no rashes or anything, but their skin is clammy. And the choices that come with these various lists can always be changed. If you want to add a new option in the list, click here. Add the option. And from now on, that option would be available. On any part of the document, you can just click and type if you want. If you have a pen tablet with a pen stylus, you would be able to use handwriting recognition. Just place your cursor where you want the text to appear. Handwrite what you want to appear. And insert. You could also use Dragon to dictate. You would just place your cursor where you want the text to appear and start talking into your mic, and as you talk, Dragon would transcribe right onto the note. You can have checkboxes. You can use shortcuts anywhere in the document. A shortcut could be a short sentence or a paragraph. COPDF for an internist might be this. You can import images if you want, from the workstation or a CD, for example. Or you could have a library of common images or diagrams that you use. And in the same way you refer to posters in your office, you could click in here and mark what you want to discuss with the patient. You can give your orders from right within your note. These are your lab orders. You want to refer the patient to get an eye exam and a foot exam. Provide the patient with education material. Create a task so your staff can get authorization, and a task so they can schedule a follow-up visit. You can post your charges as well. Sign your note. Confirm the diagnosis. The items you had selected are processed. The charges are posted. By clicking Send Charges, the charges are automatically posted to the patient's account. If you have another charge you want to add, maybe a flu vaccine, add that and send it. Now all those charges are sent. And then close and save the note. Let's look at another way to document during a patient visit. You can have your current paper forms set up in the system as templates, and then they could be set to auto-populate the patient information. And if you have a tablet with a pen stylus, you would be able to write on the form just like on paper if you want. You could also design text boxes in your document. And then type. Or use Dragon to dictate into these. Or use shortcuts. So it really can work the way you want it to work. There is yet another method for filling out forms. If you prefer to write on paper, you could have the system print the form with the patient's information auto-populated, and with a system-generated barcode on the bottom of the form. You could then handwrite on the piece of paper, and then the staff could quickly and easily scan the form back in. The system does all the filing based upon the barcode, so your staff could take your stack of forms and scan them all at the same time, and the system would automatically file them to the correct charts. There is also another method for providing patient education. On any of these diagnoses, you can right-click and search with one of these websites. Perhaps you like to search with Medline Plus. The diagnosis description was passed to the website, and then you can access the various education material. And depending on the site, you can pull up education in other languages. Print it and give it to the patient if you want, or you could also put it in the chart as a document. Your workflow may be different than the workflow we looked at today, and that's okay. We figure out how you do things and then customize the system to best follow your flow. If you'd like to see more of Patient Chart Manager, we have other demo videos available. You can also schedule a web demo if you prefer. Web demos typically last about 30 to 60 minutes. Thank you, and happy charting!